proper motivation.
Now, a mom with 3 kids,
Yeah.
she can still get over it. She got to
Possible,
set the
yeah.
kids over and then jump over.
Yeah.
I understand the woman's complaint, so
Well-
it needs to be safer.
And the problem is too is that they change up and listed it as an emergency gate, as emergency exit, like all that is, and then once you've opened that Pandora's box,
Yep. There he is.
We've migrated from the shoulder to the neck. Huh?
yeah,
I'm sorry. Yeah, this made it doubly awkward. Rolling in late with this thing on.
you're kind of a hot mess. What else are you gonna get for it?
Oh, please God, nothing. Like, I don't know that I can handle anything else.
Are you doing?
Especially after that. I'm doing it. I mean, this was bad.
Pretty tough. Are you starting to feel like less pain?
Yeah, a little bit. But man, right now my upper back is locked up. Like it feels like it's cramping.
Yeah.
Hey, Jerry, how are
So
you?
I'm just
Good
like,
to see you, man.
oh, I mean, I'm falling apart.
Yeah.
Jerry, good man. How are you?
Would you call the roll, please?
I wish I could remember what I was going to do.
Hey, it's,
Would you call the roll, please? Would you call the roll, please?
Danielle McKenzie, Jason Blair,
here?
Melissa Hunt,
Here.
Louis Williams,
Here.
Adam Webb, Mark Ham,
Here.
Glenn Lewis.
Would you join me in the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. This time we have a proclamation declaring May 14th through the 20th, 2023 as Police Week in the city of Moore. To recognize National Police Week 2023 and to honor the service and sacrifice of the law enforcement officers killed in the line of duty while protecting our communities and safeguarding our democracy. Whereas there are more than 800,000 law enforcement officers serving in communities across the United States, including the dedicated members of the Moore Police Department. And whereas some 60,000 assaults against law enforcement officers are reported each year, resulting in over 17,000 injuries. And whereas since the first known line of duty death in 1786, nearly 23,000 U.S. law enforcement officers have made the ultimate sacrifice and been killed in the line of duty, including one member of the Moore Police Department. And whereas in 2023, the names of 556 officers killed in the line of duty were added to the National Law Enforcement Officers Memorial in Washington, D.C., these 556 officers include 224 officers who were killed during 2022, and an additional 332 officers died in previous years before 2022. Many of their stories of sacrifice have been lost to history until now. And whereas the 23,785 names of these dedicated public servants are engraved on the walls of the National Law Enforcement Officers Memorial in Washington, D.C., and whereas May 15th is designated as Peace Officers Memorial Day in honor of all fallen officers and their families, therefore be it resolved, I, Louis Williams, in behalf of Glenn Lewis, Mayor, formally designate May 14th to the 20th, 2023 as Police Week in Moore, Oklahoma, and publicly salute the service of law enforcement officers in our community and in communities across the nation, and that to further remember their contributions, I direct all city flags to be flown at half-staff for the week. Signed by Glenn Lewis.
Thank you. Appreciate your
Thank you.
We have another proclamation honoring the life and service of former City Councilwoman Mary Markle. proclamation reads, whereas Mary Markle was elected to the office of City Councilwoman for the City of Moore, and whereas Mary Markle faithfully and dutifully served in that capacity from May 1986 until May 1988, and whereas public servants play a vital role in our democracy, and whereas Mary Markle fulfilled the role of public servant with the integrity, loyalty, and devotion that the office of City Councilwoman requires, and whereas she consistently and enthusiastically fought for the interests and concerns of her constituents, and whereas Mary Markle worked with diligence and dedication to achieve growth and prosperity for the City of Moore, and whereas the City Council is saddened to have learned of the recent death of Mary Markle and would like to offer her family their sincere condolences and recognize her contribution to the city. Now therefore, I, Louis Williams, on behalf of Mayor Glenn Lewis, on behalf of the Moore City Council, do hereby honor the life and service of Mary Markle for her commitment to public service in her capacity as City Councilwoman for the City of Moore. Signed by Glenn Lewis on the 19th day of April 2023. Okay, is there anyone here? Okay. Didn't think so.
She is.
Yes, okay. We thank you very much, yes. You're welcome.
Thank you.
All right, item 2 is the consent docket. Item A is approve the minutes of the regular city council meeting held April 17th, 2023. Item B is approve the minutes of the special work study session held April 3rd, 2023. Item C is declare the following items from the Public Works Department, more particularly described in Exhibit A, as surplus: a 2005 Harper Mower, a 1984 Ford farm tractor, a 1983 Ford farm tractor, Hunter Road Forced Tire Balancer, Hunter Tire Machine, Snap-on Tire Balancer, Snap-on Tire Machine, Glyclean Antifreeze and Coolant Recycling System, a T-Tech Pro Plus Transmission Fluid Exchanger, Gas Buggy Fuel Transfer Tank, and various miscellaneous parts. Item D is approve and ratify claims and expenditures for FY 22-23 in the amount of $3,682,330.39.
Make a motion that we approve the consent docket.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. It's consent docket. Please call the vote.
Jason Blair,
Yes.
Melissa Hunt,
Yes.
Mark Ham,
Yes.
Louis Williams.
Yes. Thank you. Item passes. Item 3, consider adoption of a resolution number 5023 pertaining to the general obligation bonds of 2023 approved by a majority of the qualified voters in an election held on November 9th, 2021, fixing the amount of the bonds to mature each year, fixing the time and place the bonds are to be sold, and authorizing the clerk to give notice of said sale as required by law.
Mayor and Council, this will be the last withdrawal of the 2021 bonds that were approved in November 21 for the animal shelter. So this will complete the funding. Recommend approval. Our bond counsel and investment advisors are here to answer any questions if need be.
Motion to approve?
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Is there any other discussion? If not, call for the vote, please.
Melissa Hunt,
Yes.
Mark Ham,
Yes.
Jason Blair,
Yes.
Louis Williams.
Yes, item passes. Item 4, consider approval of a library services, facilities, and maintenance agreement with the Pioneer Library System for fiscal year 2023-2024.
Mayor and Council, this is an approval of the renewal of the existing agreement. Recommend approval.
Motion to approve?
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Is there any other discussion? Okay, call for the vote, please.
Mark Ham,
Yes.
Jason Blair,
Yes.
Melissa Hunt,
Yes.
Louis Williams.
Yes, item passes. Item 5, consider approval of a contract with Dillon and Associates to perform the city's annual audit in an amount not to exceed $61,500.
Mayor and Council, Dillon and Associates has performed our audit the last several years, and we're happy with their performance. We recommend approval.
Okay.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? Okay, would you call for the vote, please?
Jason Blair,
Yes.
Melissa Hunt,
Yes.
Mark Ham,
Yes.
Louis Williams.
Yes, item passes. Item 6, consider approval of a release of a 15-foot waterline easement, Book 2942, page 869, located in the northeast quarter of Section 10, Township 10 North, Range 3 West, being south of Northwest 27th Street and west of I-35, application by Quick Trip.
City Council, this has to do with the construction of Quick Trip. There is an existing 8-inch water line that runs north and south through the property. Quick Trip is abandoning this line, and they are also rerouting it in order to construct the convenience store at this location on the lot. Therefore, the easement needs to be released in order to complete this task. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Is there any other discussion? Call for the vote, please.
Melissa Hunt,
Yes.
Mark Ham,
Yes.
Jason Blair,
Yes.
Louis Williams.
Yes, item passes. Item 7, consider approval of ordinance number 102723, amending Part 12, Chapter 3, Section 12-396B of the Moore Land Development Code by amending the maximum height of rear and side fencing from 7 feet to 8 feet, establishing setback requirements for fences, establishing restrictions for barbed wire fencing, and defining method of measurement for fence height.
Over the years, my department has received complaints over time because fencing is not made in 7-foot lengths. And our current code does have 7 foot as a maximum height on fencing. Those complaints have gotten more frequent with the current environment, with the fencing materials at very expensive. So basically you'd be buying an 8-foot section, cutting a foot off, which would just be wasted materials. So I have an ordinance for your consideration if you would like to change the maximum height on that. This ordinance mirrors what Oklahoma City does in their city limits. It allows an 8-foot maximum height on side and rear yards. However, in this ordinance, in working with the fire marshal, there was a concern about having an 8-foot fence section up against the side of a house because the soffits do have venting, and so that could facilitate a fire spreading from a fence to a house or vice versa. So in this particular ordinance, we are requiring that to be 5 feet from any structure. That would apply to almost all homes being constructed because they are required to have a 5-foot setback on the sides. Additionally, while we were amending this section of code, we did put into writing some other practices that we have. One is that we do allow barbed wire fencing in agricultural and industrial zonings, but this ordinance would make a shared fence line but with a residential property not eligible for the barbed wire. That's really for the safety of the residents. This ordinance also allows for a 1-to-1 step-down transition. If you are wanting a fence in the front yard, that you could have a step down from your 8-foot fence at every foot until you are 4 feet out from the plane of the building. So it has a transition instead of just a cutoff point. That's not required, it is just an option in code. So this is for your consideration. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Is there any minimum height? 4 foot?
The maximum height in a front yard is 4 feet.
What
But
about
no,
side? side, or, so in the instance of a 5-foot house easement, the normal 6-foot fence would be applicable there, would it not?
So if in a normal 5-foot setback from a house, you could have 8 foot on the side.
If you wanted, but could it be 6?
It could be 6, yeah. Or you could opt to have no fence at all. We don't have a requirement for
Okay.
fencing.
Yep. Okay.
Motion to approve. I'll second the motion.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Okay, would you call for the vote, please?
Mark Ham,
Yes.
Jason Blair,
Yes.
Melissa Hunt,
Yes.
Louis Williams.
Yes, item passes. Item 8, consider approval of a professional services agreement with Freeze and Nichols, Inc. for on-call stormwater management consulting in an amount not to exceed $50,000.
The City of Moore is beginning a new 5-year program with DEQ on our stormwater management. They do give permits in 5-year increments. The last effective permit came out in June of 2021, and believe it or not, it does take a couple of years to kind of get everything up and going. So we are starting our new 5-year permit this year. The permit has several new requirements that have not been previously required that the city must now manage. So just to give you a very brief overview of the new program, it does have 6 categories. The first category is public participation and involvement. This is not a new category. We do almost everything that is in the new permit we've done in the old permits, so we have the materials and the ability to do that. The second category is industrial permitting and inspections. This is a brand new category in the permit. We've never done this before, and it would require the city to permit certain industrial users to have authorized discharges into the city's MS4 or storm sewer network, and it would also require the city to inspect those facilities. DEQ will give us a list of the industries that they want us to permit and inspect. The third category is illicit discharge and inspections. This is when somebody just pours some unauthorized materials into the storm drain system. We do get called out on this every once in a while. We have a great program set up to detect this and to respond to complaints when we receive them. The fourth category is construction site inspections. Again, we do this every day, and we have for many years. We have a great program, and we'll continue to do that as well. The fifth category is post-construction management. This is working with sites after the construction is complete to make sure that the stormwater that's discharged is as clean as possible. There are this is an old category, but some new requirements within that category. They are wanting cities to look into low-impact development and make that a requirement in some instances, in addition to some ordinance changes to make your development code a bit more environmentally friendly. So we'll be looking into those potential ordinance changes over this next 5-year period and come back to you with those. The sixth category, the final category, is good housekeeping, which is basically what the city does with our sites to make sure that we have clean stormwater discharge. And again, we're familiar with this. We do it. We just have some few things that we are making improvements on, but in general, I think we do a good job at this. This particular agenda item is requesting for an on-call contract because, as I just said, there's some new things that the city doesn't have experience with that I think that we're going to need to have assistance in moving forward. We'll need assistance in the industrial permitting. We'll need assistance in dry weather screening or sampling of creeks during the dry weather, and reporting and implementing some standard operating procedures. So this contract would allow us to have a professional come in and help us with these items. The funding does come from Fund 11, which is a dedicated fund for water and stormwater improvements. So if you have any questions, I would be happy to answer them.
Do we have this set up in the budget for next year?
Yes, it's within the budget this year, and I did request it for next year.
Okay. All right.
And again, it's on on-call contract, so we may not spend any of this money, but we just want to have something there in case we need it.
Absolutely.
Make a motion to approve?
Second the motion?
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Okay, would you call for the vote, please?
Jason Blair. Melissa Hunt.
Yes.
Mark Ham.
Yes?
Louis Williams.
Yes. Item passes. Item 9, consider authorizing staff to solicit requests for proposals for construction of pickleball courts at Kiwanis Park located at 501 East Main.
Council members, this request is for two pickleball courts that will be funded by CDBG funds. That's been previously approved. Recommend approval.
Where are you putting them at?
Kiwanis Park, which is right outside Brand
Well,
Senior
where
Center.
at, though?
It's
Brand Senior Center?
Where out on the park grounds?
close
Do you know
to
where
the
they're
playground, probably 50 feet from the playground
Okay,
area.
like
Within
north, the
the
north?
walking trail.
Oh, okay, all right.
Make a motion to approve?
Second.
Whoever. Okay, we have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Would you call for the vote, please?
Melissa Hunt.
Yes.
Mark Ham.
Yes?
Jason Blair.
Yes.
Louis Williams.
Yes. Item passes. Item 10, consider renewal of a contract with Brassfield Landscaping LLC in the amount of $57,652 for the mowing and maintenance of various city-owned properties.
Items 10 through 13 are our lawn mowing and landscaping contracts that we are renewing. These are budgeted contracts, and each of the companies has a certain number of parks that they do, and that's why the amounts are different.
Okay.
Recommend approval.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion?
And I'm sorry, I should have asked, how, because I assume the prices have gone up quite a bit from last year, but what is the difference from last year? Do you know what the contract was from last year, this year? If not,
It's not major. It did not go up that much
okay, perfect.
because they are the same companies that we're already using.
Okay, perfect, thank you.
Okay. Any other questions? Would you call for the vote, please?
Mark Ham.
Yes?
Jason Blair.
Yes.
Melissa Hunt.
Yes.
Louis Williams.
Yes. Item passes. Item 11, consider renewal of a contract with Tesla Now Lawn and Landscape LLC in the amount of $49,560 for the mowing and maintenance of various city-owned properties.
Motion to approve.
Second?
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Would you call for the vote, please?
Jason Blair.
Yes.
Melissa Hunt.
Yes.
Mark Ham.
Yes.
Louis Williams.
Yes, item passes. Item 12, consider renewal of a contract with Brassfield Landscaping LLC in the amount of $8,390 for flower bed maintenance of various city-owned properties.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Would you call for the vote, please?
Melissa Hunt.
Yes.
Mark Ham.
Yes?
Jason Blair.
Yes.
Louis Williams.
Yes, item passes. Item 13, consider renewal of a contract with K&G Home and Landscaping by Design in the amount of $10,500 for flower bed maintenance of various city-owned properties.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Would you call for the vote, please?
Mark Ham.
Yes?
Jason Blair.
Yes.
Melissa Hunt.
Yes.
Louis Williams.
Yes, item passes. Item 14, consider approval of a quote from Legacy Landscaping and Fencing in the amount of $12,660 for construction of 8 36-inch gates with an exit panic bar at the Buck Thomas Park sports complexes.
Council, this quote is for the baseball, softball, and football complexes to have 4 on the baseball, 2 on each of the softball and football complexes. This is for emergency exits in case of a tornado or any kind of emergency.
I appreciate you guys getting this done so fast. This is lightning speed for city
Yes.
government, so I really appreciate it.
That is the lowest of 3 quotes.
I make a motion to approve.
I'll second the motion.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Call for the vote, please.
Jason Blair,
Yes.
Melissa Hunt,
Yes.
Mark Ham,
Yes.
Louis Williams,
Yes, item passes. Item 15, consider amending the previously authorized purchase of 19 portable handheld radios and related accessories in the previously approved amount of $58,487.70 from L3 Harris Technologies, Inc. as the lowest written quote instead of utilizing state contract number SW 1053.
Mayor and Council, this is the Finance Director, John Parker, helping us and keep us on the straight and narrow. This item was previously approved, incorrectly referred to the state contract 1053. Harris provided cheaper pricing on that, and as we were going through the purchasing process, we recognized that the purchase order wouldn't reflect correctly what was approved in council, so we brought these back before council. This item and item 16, and we'd recommend approval.
Okay, thank you.
So the pricing didn't change, nothing changed, it was just the,
This pricing that we're receiving, this $58,487, is actually from L3 Harris pricing, is cheaper
Oh,
than state
nice.
contract pricing.
Then-
all right. Perfect. Motion to approve?
Second?
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any questions? Call for the vote, please.
Melissa Hunt,
Yes.
Mark Ham,
Yes.
Jason Blair,
Yes.
Louis Williams,
Yes, item passes. Item 16, consider amending the previously authorized purchase of 34 mobile vehicle-mounted radios and related accessories from L3 Harris Technologies, Inc. in the previously approved amount of $180,200, waiving competitive bidding as prices less than state contract SW 1053.
Mayor and Council, this is similar to item 15, would also recommend approval.
Motion to approve?
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any other questions? Call for the vote, please.
Mark Ham,
Yes.
Jason Blair,
Yes.
Melissa Hunt,
Yes.
Louis Williams,
Yes, item passes. At this time, we'll recess the city council meeting and convene the Moore Public Works Authority meeting. Item 17 is a consent docket. Item A, receive and approve the minutes of the regular Moore Public Works Authority meeting held April 17th, 2023. Item B, approve and ratify claims and expenditures for FY 22-23 in the amount of $1,064,775.99.
Make a motion to approve the consent docket.
A second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. It is a consent docket. Call for the vote, please.
Jason Blair,
Yes.
Melissa Hunt,
Yes.
Mark Ham,
Yes.
Louis Williams,
Yes, item passes. At this time, we'll recess the Moore Public Works Authority meeting and convene the Moore Risk Management meeting. Item 18 is a consent docket. Item A, accept the minutes of the regular Moore Risk Management meeting held April 17th, 2023. Item B, approve payment of a workers' compensation settlement in the amount of $48,966 for CBR number 205-000998 to Scott Wendling and authorize placement on the ad valorem tax roll. Item C is approve and ratify claims and expenditures for FY 22-23 in the amount of $48,728.11.
Motion to approve.
Second the motion?
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Again, this is a consent docket. Call for the vote, please.
Melissa Hunt,
Yes.
Mark Ham,
Yes.
Jason Blair,
Yes.
Louis Williams,
Yes, item passes. At this time, we'll recess the Moore Risk Management meeting and reconvene the city council meeting. Item 19, new business. Item A, citizens forum for items not on the agenda. Would anybody care to address the council? Okay, if not, item B, items from the city council or trustees. Okay, if not, item C, items from the city or trust manager.
Just a couple of things. The section on Main Street between Broadway and the railroad tracks will be closed for the next couple of weeks. People will be able to access it to park in the bank parking lot, but there's a drainage issue that needs to be repaired. So we'll work on that as quickly as we can. And then just reminding everybody to go vote on May the 9th.
Very good. Item 20 is adjournment.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, would you call for the vote, please?
Jason Blair.
He left. He says yes.
He's already
Melissa
adjourned,
Hunt.
so-
Yes.
Mark Ham.
Yes.
Louis Williams.
Yes, we are adjourned. Thank you for being here.
He was really hurting.
Was he?
I could tell he was just sitting there like moving around and just like, I don't know, like.